There's the plaque.
Most venerable Geshe Samala. Geshe is Tibetan scholar, and also he lives in Ladakh. Ladakh means he is from Ladakh, and Ladakh monastery. We have a very opportunity to Geshe was being here today, so we love Geshe to lead the prayer for the world peace, and for freedom Tibet, and including that our American monk here, Robson. He's a resident in Santa Barbara. So I would like to join with Geshe to do the prayer.
Yeah, Tashi believe in Tibetan, believe in Ladakh. So I would like to say I'm also very happy to join this beautiful session, especially the Tibetan observing days. Really, I'm very happy. I come from very far, from Ladakh. I've been down, so I'm happy to join this. So the Rinpoche already requested me to do some prayer, the world peace prayer. So I'm chanting in the Tibetan. May all sinners be free from the suffering. May all sinners be happy and peaceful in this world. Chanzo Manu Nanish Kapsunji, Nagi Jizangi Batsolangi, Dala Benjasan, Davarisho Sangi, Chedan Zogi Chanala, Chanzo Manu Nanish Kapsunji, Nagi Jizangi Batsolangi, Dala Benjasan, Davarisho Sangi, Chedan Zogi Chanala, Chanzo Danish Kapsunji, Dagi Jizogi Vyatsolangi, Dola Penjasan, Davarisho, Simji Antanji, Dewana Devegi, Dembala Gurji, Simji Antan, Dola Dola Giran, Davala Guri, Simji Antanji, Dola Meb, Devala Medava Guri, Simji Antanji, Nire Chan, Gidanda, Tai Gyalanya, Gyorenji, Chanjo, Simjo, Adengo, Mashki, Mashki, Shkiwa, Nyamba, Meba, Konego, Pewarisho, De la Gomboji, Resi, Wangi, Se Chigere, Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Thank you so much, Emiliano.
we are gathered here today for Tibetan Uprising Day. The story of the Tibetan struggle is an immensely inspiring the courage. It's a story of courage. It's a story of courage that people would rise up even against as terrifying of a force as at that time thoroughly Maoist People's Liberation Army of China. And I also just want to say something for county staff and our security personnel. I'm sure you can look after us and still have a pastry, so come and join us and participate. We want to have you take part. Whereas 63 years ago, Tibetans took a stand together for the freedom of their home. The people of the Tibetan capital, Lhasa, feared for the life of the Dalai Lama, surrounded his residence, organized a guard, and called for the withdrawal of Chinese forces from Tibet and restoration of Tibet's freedom. Whereas Chinese statistics estimate 87,000 Tibetans were killed, arrested, or deported to labor camps during the suppression of the 1959 uprising, which also led to the forced exile of the Dalai Lama and tens of thousands of other Tibetans. Whereas today, 63 years later, the government of the People's Republic of China remains engaged in severe repression of Tibet's unique religious, cultural, and linguistic heritage, and is engaged in gross violations of human rights in Tibet, including extrajudicial detentions, disappearances, and torture. And whereas the Tibetan people have not given up their struggle for fundamental human rights, Tibetans today are still striving to gain their freedoms back, to practice and preserve their national identity, and remain as they remain under China's communist rule. We want to resolve as a community to stand with the Tibetan people. We do not for a minute minimize our own past histories. We acknowledge that our own society has engaged in the kind of cultural repression that takes place in Tibet. But our hope is that our world society can move beyond that. The Tibetan people do not want to be erased from history. They do not want to be an appendage of China as a cultural entity, or even as a political one. And it is important for us here in Santa Barbara, a place where many Tibetans have found refuge, that we stand with those people. And I think it's also doubly important in this age of the tide of autocracy that our very system of government democracy may be at assault both here and abroad, and the pendulum seems to be swinging back towards those autocracies at times. That it is important for us to stand up and stand up for loving kindness, stand up for the fundamental value of human life. That, as much as the 20th century was an age of Paradise's community ideology, that human life should not be ground under that search. That human life has inherent worth, and that we appreciate the Dalai Lama for, in times of danger, maybe even in times that much of the world is asleep to, that he has stood up for that value of human life and that inherent human worth that we all carry. So it is my pleasure to have it hereby ordained and resolved that this Board of Supervisors declares March 10th as Tibet Day in Santa Barbara County and authorizes the Department of General Services to fly the Tibetan flag at the Santa Barbara County Administration Building. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey.
That's Martin from the United Nations Association.
Thank you, Nancy.
It's my pleasure to represent the Santa Barbara and Tri-Counties United Nations Association, UNA USA, and also as a co-chair of the Human Rights Affinity Group of the UNA USA. And I'd just like to say, we believe that everyone needs to have and should have and definitely has the fundamental right of having all of their human rights. And that means that everyone is allowed to go to school, practice their language, practice their religion, have a safe place to live, have food to eat, and have work that's valuable to them. And the Chinese, I have nothing against the Chinese, and they need that too, but Tibetans need the respect. They should not lose their culture or their language or their religion, and children need to be taught. And so the UN, UNA, USA, and Affinity Group for Human Rights want to see that Tibet gets their human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I apologize for that. Here's our true Tibetan heart of our community in California. Concession between please. Share.
Thank you very much for coming here. Also, I really appreciate and thank you for the Board of Supervisors, Benin, the county supervisors, and all the people of Santa Barbara for also really supporting Tibet, but also not only Tibet, but all rising for the human rights. And also today, I just want to say here, we all have some ladies here. I want to wish you a happy International Women's Day. And this is a very auspicious day together to celebrate the human rights.
Right.
And now I'm going to read commemorations of the March 10. March 10, 1959 is a very important date for the Tibetan people. This year is the 64th anniversary of Uprising of the Tibetan people against communist Chinese occupation of our homeland. All around the world, Tibetans and our friends remember and pay tribute to all those who have sacrificed their lives for the Tibetan freedom. And estimated 1 million Tibetans perished, and 98 of monasteries and nunneries have been destroyed under communist Chinese rule. On these days, in 1959, the people of Lhasa rose up against the communist Chinese, and they prevented His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama from being taken to the Chinese military camp. 2 days later, the women of Lhasa also protested and appealed to Indian and Nepalese diplomatic mission in Lhasa and to the world. When the demonstration and the protest did not stop, the Chinese military began to shell the summer palace of the His Holiness Dalai Lama and the city of Lhasa. Several days later, His Holiness Dalai Lama secretly escaped from Lhasa and weeks later arrived in India, where he was granted asylum. He has been living in exile for more than 70 years, along with 100,000 Tibetans who left their home and escaped the Chinese, including myself. That time I was about 5 years old. His Holiness the Dalai Lama had always tried to solve the difficult political issue through compassion and with friendship toward the Chinese. Has not discussed for so far. The Tibetans are still struggling for freedom, and since 2008, more than 150 Tibetans have self-immolated themselves as continuing protest against the communist Chinese rule. Even though 70 years have passed, Chinese suppression of Tibetan people has only gotten worse. Xi Jinping is determined to complete assimilate our people, our language, and our religion, and our culture into the rest of China. What is happening to the Uyghurs has already happened in Tibet. And in the last year, Chinese have established resident schools throughout Tibet, where children must reside as boarding on at least 5 days in a week and are only allowed to speak in Chinese. Our children are being forced to forget their own mother tongue, just like Uyghurs and Mongolians and other suffering minorities, including the freedom-loving people of Hong Kong and Taiwan. We must not forget the Tibetan people. And just as Ukraine has been invaded and still being destroyed by Russia, and we must remember this is exactly what happened to Tibet since years ago. Let us all hope and pray that China and Russia will not succeed. Your support and the support of the global community can save the people of Tibet and other freedom-loving people. Thank you for coming here today. And free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! And peace on earth. Thank you. Thank you very much.